Hey guys, hey Scott, especially for you. This is part two. This is the GI Combat part. And basically, GI Combat started out as a quality comic book, which I believe I have one, which is 40. Your GI Combat Haunted Tank begins in 87. But your first book that I have for GI Combat is actually this right here, number 40. And number 40, GI Combat came out, issue number 1 came out in 1952, and it was by Quality Comics Group. So GI Combat, under Quality Comics, went from issue number 1 to issue number 43, which ended in 1956. And then DC Comics picks up the run beginning in January with issue number 57. I don't have, what do I have? I have 66. So what we will do is I will talk and we will run through these comic books, and hopefully you can see what these are. So the first one we have is so the first one I have is DC comic book number 66. And what happens is this: DC comic books picks up the run with issue number 57 in January. Just so you guys know, there is some wash tone books, which aka gray tones, but the actual process is called wash tone, and it was done by Mr. Adler. So Mr. Adler, which Jack Adler collection, which I have right here. I have these here, this one here, this one here, and these are 4-color separations. And Jack Adler worked for DC Comics from 1951 to 1981. And Mr. Adler eventually became the vice president of production at DC Comics. And during his tenure, Mr. Adler amassed a rare collection of comic approval covers, 4-color separations, original hand-colored pieces featuring many of the Silver Age covers. Despite Mr. Adler's efforts in trying to save this stuff, many 4-color separations were lost, so only a few really survive. The 4-color separation is a process which I'm going to show you. I have one that's not, and this one right here. This is the proof. This is the 4-color separation, and what you're looking at is this would come across the editor's desk, and this one is a 4-color separation for GI War Tales, issue number 3. This is the color version. Then you have the black-white version. You can see the colors here. The blue. The yellow and red with pink. And then we have just the pink. And these are your color separations. Which is pretty cool. There are so many artists. So basically, I'm gonna throw this here, and we are going to. And the thing I like about GI Combat was later on in the 70s they came out with Battle Album, and they came out with the stories in here. You had some fantastic artists. You had oh my God, so many of them. Glassman, Kubert, Heath, I mean, just, oh my God, they're just so many. You know, there's Neil Adams, Erwin Hassan, there's Mort Drucker, John Severin. Oh my God, there's just so many. Joe Kubert, Andy Kubert, Adam Kubert, Jack Kirby, Gil Kane. There's just so many. Sam Glassman was a fantastic one. Gonzalez. Oh, man. There was just so many. Jack Adler. Now, Jack Adler came up with what we're going to look at is some people call them gray tones, but they're actually wash tones. And Adler came up with the wash tone process. And Jack and his friend Saul, they've been having problems getting separations done for the cover art, and it had a lot to do with unions. So Adler came up with that wash tone process. Now the thing is collectors are looking for these wash tones, and you will see. So without further ado, I'm gonna run through the books, starting with number 66 of Eagle Company. The Eagle of Easy Company. Then we have, this is a wash tone. Some people call it gray tone. And this is GI Combat number 84. This is Little Al, Big Al, and Charlie Cigar, the TNT trio. Then we go into another wash tone, which is number 96 with the Haunted Tank. 87 is your first appearance of the Haunted Tank in GI Combat. And it is a wash tone book. These are actually Avenger torpedo bombers, which are going straight down as dive bombers, which wasn't the case. They should have been Dauntless dive bombers, but they were actually with the wrong planes. Those are Avengers. And it's just cute. But that's besides the point. So that's number 87, the first one. This is 96, a wash tone by Adler. What else we got? We have issue number 100, which is another wash tone. And the wash tones run from like 75 all the way to 109 with 44, 51, 69. So there's a big run of the wash tone / gray tone books. Number 53 is a prototype for Sergeant Rock. 55, 56, 57, 58. All like pre-Sergeant Rock prototype things, which I don't have. But here we have 100. And it's sad because number 66 is another pre-Rock. 67 is the first tank killer. Number 68 is the Rock. And you could actually find him in Our Army at War in 242 and issues 81 to 84 in Our Army at War. So the Haunted Tank is a M3 light tank. It's a Stuart and has a crew of 4. And the crew is Jeb Stuart, Rick, Arch, and Slim. And basically the Haunted Tank is protected and guided. This is Haunted Tank number 102 by James Ewell Brown, Jeb Stuart. And so he's following the light tank Stuart with his namesake, Lieutenant Jeb Stuart. So now 88 would be the second appearance of the Haunted Tank. And this is 102. And we got 103. And these wash tones are really nice. So now we got 103. And we slide into 106. And then we have 107. Okay. And now we run into 108. And 108 is a key book because 108 ends up being the first Sergeant Rock crossover from Easy Company. That's a key book for the GI Combat run. So we have 108, then we got 109. And we have a beat up copy of 110. Excuse me, then we have 112. $116. we have 118. And let's see, so that's 118. Just looking for something, guys. That's 118. Okay, so 118 is called My Buddy, My Enemy. Of course, it's written right on there. There's 118. And then we got 119. 119 is 1966, Target for Firing Squad. And then we have, we see 120. 120 is a 1966 Pull the Tiger's Tail. Guess Sergeant Rock and Johnny Cloud. Then we got 121. And 121 is a 1966, The Battle of Two Wars. Then we have 22, Who Dies Next? And then we have 123, which is The Target of Terror. And we're running into 124. These wash tones are really, really nice. So that's 124. Scratch that tank. And we've got, do we have a 125? No, I don't think we do. Do we have? Nope. We have a 126 though. And 126 was 1967, the tank umbrella. And then we have 127. And 127 was what? 127 was from 1967 into 1968, Kill That Tank. And then we have the Attila, which was pretty cool. That was a cool story. That is issue 130. And 130 came out in 1968, and it's Battle of the Generals, which would be Attila fighting Jeb Stuart, the Ghost. Then we have 131. And 131 came out in 68 and is The Devil to Dinner. And then we have Beware the Executioner by Joe Kubert for 132. And that was about 1968. And then we're looking at 133. Another Joe Kubert. And then we've got 134. And we're looking at 135. The Nazis shall not pass. Look at, whatchamacallit? Gandalf's platoon. And then we have, is that 135? Do we have 136? No, I don't think we have 136. Do we have 136? Nope. So now we got 137, which was 1969. And then we have a pretty cool key issue right here, which is 138, which is the first appearance and introduction of the Losers. So they combined Captain Storm, Gunner and Sarge, and Johnny Cloud's book into what will end up becoming the Losers. And then later on, Mademoiselle Marie will join the Losers. Then we have, so that's 138, so then 139. And then we got 140. Then we have 141. $142. 143, 144, 147, 148, 149, and then of course 149 leads into 150, which is the death of the Stuart tank. And what we end up looking at right here is this. So in 148 you have the death of the Stuart, the M3 Stuart. It gets blown up in this storyline here. He's helping Rock, and they're trying to get over, and the tank gets hit and gets destroyed, even though it takes out a Tiger. So they go to the tank graveyard, and this is where they put together the new Stuart, the new haunted tank. It's no longer the Stuart. It's this cannibalized, whatever you want to call it, tank. I believe it's either got a 75 or a 90 millimeter gun on this thing. Yeah, this is 76.2 millimeter gun. Should even the odds against Tigers. And even though they didn't need it, because with their little Stuart, it seemed to be knocking out Panthers and Tigers all the time. And so that was this. And these books are great. These books had all kinds of neat stories in the background. Look at the Ice Cream Soldier's story. Introduced an ice cream soldier to Easy Company. I mean, these are really cool books. They really were. So that's